Many things have changed in history, but one of them has not, and that is being put to death for a crime. Heyo, and welcome to another episode of The Darchives. I'm Jamie talking to Leo.
And I'm Leo listening to Jamie.
And this week, we are going to be talking about the death penalty and how it has been carried out throughout history.
Quick announcement before we get into the episode. We just opened up a new Patreon.
The only tier is free right now, correct? It's just for support?
No, there is a $1 tier as well. So everybody can join for free. You get all the same free content. And then if we're going to do any updates or anything, that'll all be there for the free tier. The $1 tier basically is just a support so that way we can grow the show and release more content. That's the end goal. As of right now, it's just a support tier. But if we get enough people, then we can justify another RSS feed with some premium content and do some different stuff.
Yeah, so whatever you can do, anything would be extremely helpful to us.
Or just jump on there so you get a little bit more regular updates, because that'll be
where we do the updates.
That's where we'll basically do it. Yeah, you can reach us over there a little bit quicker. It'll be kind of our one-stop shop for everything. I think it'll be a lot easier that way instead of jumping around all the different socials.
All right, you ready to start this episode?
Let's get into it.
Okay. As far back as the 18th century BCE, the death penalty has been around for humans. The Code of King Hammurabi of Babylon established what is believed to be the first death penalty for 25 to 30 different crimes, though surprisingly to us here in 2026, murder was not one of the crimes. We saw the death penalty in the 14th century BCE with the Hittite Code, the 7th century BCE with the Draconian Code of Athens, and the 5th century BCE in the Roman Law of the 12 Tablets. The first historically recorded death sentence was carried out in 16th century BCE Egypt, where a member of the nobility was accused of magic in order to take his own life. Throughout time, the means of execution and the reasoning behind the execution has changed greatly. But we are going to be discussing some examples of some of the craziest ways and reasons that people have been executed. Starting back with the Code of King Hammurabi of Babylon, which is in modern-day Iraq, this is believed to be the earliest record where the death penalty is established, and this was all the way back in, like I said, 18th century BCE or around 1750 BCE, so quite a ways back. Hammurabi turned Babylon into something of an empire by conquering and unifying many different city-states along the Fertile Crescent. The Fertile Crescent is the term given to the area of land where humans actually started to first settle down on the land rather than just continue to be nomadic hunters as they were.
So we're finally setting up settlements.
Yeah, we're making camp. We're deciding we're going to stick it out here. This land was, as the name implies, very fertile. There was enough there for them to stay. It is in current-day Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Turkey, Iran, Palestine, and Jordan. So you kind of get the vibe of where this area is. To keep this new kingdom unified and together, King Hammurabi established his code. It was to, quote, bring about the rule of righteousness in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evildoers, so that the strong should not harm the weak, end quote. The code was engraved onto stone tablets so everyone can see them, and it gave the death penalty for things like theft or perjury. They kind of took the eye for an eye stance on crimes. For today, that would be seen as more minor.
Yeah.
And when I say eye for an eye, I mean that very literally. Law 196 states, quote, if a man put out the eye of another man, his eye shall be put out. Or as Law 197 states, quote, if he break another man's bone, his bone shall be broken, end quote.
So what I'm learning is leave no witness.
Yeah, because you're not going to die for murder.
If you break his bones or pluck out an eye, you suffer the same fate.
Right back at you, buddy.
It's better to just off him at that point.
Mm-hmm. Law 2 states, quote, if anyone bring an accusation against a man, and the accused go to the river and leap into the river, if he sink in the river, his accuser shall take possession of his house. But If the river prove that the accused is not guilty and he escape unhurt, then he who had brought the accusation shall be put to death, while he who leaped into the river shall take possession of the house that had belonged to his accuser. End quote. So it's kind of like, if you recall back to witches, it's kind of the same idea. If you go in the water and you drown, great, then you were guilty. This one's different because if you come back up,
get all your accuser stuff.
Yep. Then the other man dies and you get everything he had. So
I wonder if there's any little caveats to that, where maybe they put chains or rocks or something around their feet to make it more difficult, or if it was just jump in the river and if you make it out the other side, you're good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Yale had a breakdown of all the laws, so there wasn't really too much in depth on each law. So I mean, maybe, but as far as Yale told me, they just had to get in and out of the river to be proven innocent.
It's like the craziest whitewater river you've ever seen in your life.
I know. It had to have been to make that law worth it. Laws 229 and 230 state, quote, if a builder build a house for someone and does not construct it properly, and the house which he built fall in and kill its owner, then that boner...
A boner?
Oh my god.
What a boner, dude.
I don't even know where I got that.
You're going to say owner.
Oh, killed its owner. Yeah, I'm looking at the word owner, and then 3 words later it says builder. Oops. The house kills its owner, then that builder shall be put to death, and, quote, if it kill the son of the owner of that builder...
Then the builder's son would also be put to death?
Yes.
I was picking that up.
Yeah, so if...
I got it.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's eye for an eye. You see that? Like, it's pretty explicit on that.
Being a carpenter was a risky trade back in the day.
Yeah, count me out. Not that I could have worked back then anyway, but... you know.
It would have been washing feet or something back in the day.
Yeah, washing feet or just being a slave. Fanning someone with a palm frond. Feeding them grapes. You know. Some of the ways of execution here were burning alive for incest, or impalement for lovers that plan to murder their spouses. Just for some examples.
You know, that law is actually how Johnny Cash got his Burning Ring of Fire song.
I thought it was from an STD. His was from Burning Alive?
Burn for banging your sister.
Oh, gross. Ew. What is wrong with him? He banged a sister?
I didn't say that.
Doesn't the song say, I fell into a burning ring of fire?
This was a joke that went way awry.
Oh. Whoops. I can't pick up humor yet. It's too early. Leaving King Hammurabi's code, though, 451 and 450 BCE brought about the 12 tables in ancient Rome. 12 bronze tablets were engraved with the new laws that were to be followed in Rome. While the tablets themselves were destroyed when Rome was sacked by the Gauls in 390 BCE, remaining fragments and references from writing give us today an insight into what those tablets had said. While they covered a lot of laws, such as trial laws, debts, land rights, injury, and more, we are going to be looking at the crime and the punishment that evoked death. Arson, if committed intentionally, was punishable by being burned to death yourself. Using magic on crops was punishable by crucifixion.
Yep, you better not have better crops than the guy next to you.
Nope, you better pray for a drought or something.
You know, that made me kind of go off into my head a little bit. And if I was alive back in the day, I'm pretty sure I'd be the guy accusing, like, my neighbor of witchcraft.
Well, yeah, that's how, like, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of women have been killed, is slight somebody in one way, and all they gotta do is go like, well, she's a witch.
But it wouldn't be a slight, I don't think. I think literally they would just be good at their job, and I have never had a green thumb. So if I pulled out 80 bales of wheat and they pulled out 120 bales of wheat, I'd be like, yo, homeboy over there is doing something. He's doing witchery.
Oh, I see. So just because you're not as good at farming as the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking most of this was based in, you know? It was probably a lot of people going like, how the fuck's he doing all that? That's going to be magic.
Yeah, probably.
I can't go like that.
Or just something as simple as, like, they have better soil. soil changes, I mean, from house to house.
Yeah, better soil, a better irrigation system, whatever it be. It's just they do something a little different that yields a better result, and the knee-jerk reaction back in the day is
Magic.
witchcraft.
Yeah, exactly. Whoever was convicted of speaking false witnesses were to be flung from the Tarpeian Rock. So, better not be talking shit. Otherwise, you're getting thrown off a rock.
I guess I'm a pretty big one.
I would assume, because to be flung off it as a form of death, it had to be quite large. Slaves caught in the act of theft shall be whipped with scourges and shall be thrown from the rock.
What is a scourge?
I don't know.
Like, I've heard of it used. I've heard that word used as like a scourge on society, but not as a weapon.
Oh, yuck.
Oh, Jamie looked it up and her face looks
Yuck.
Ugh.
Yuck. It is a leather whip or lash with multiple pieces at the end of it.
We talked about this during Witches, and it was called something different. It was like Cat of Nine Tails or something.
There is a Cat of Nine Tails. This one, I don't know exactly. Oh, now I do. It has metal balls, bones, or metal spikes embedded into the end of it to inflict more damage.
Ah, it's a little weight at the end of the tendrils and
Yeah.
slicey.
Yep. Oh, gross. So yeah, the slaves were whipped with a brutal whip and then thrown from the big rock. This one's, I mean, it's not funny, but it's kind of goofy. If anyone had sung or composed against another person a song that caused slander or insult, or if anyone was found to be uttering in public a slander, they were clubbed to death. So, no diss tracks and no talking shit. Gonna get your brains bashed in.
Kendrick wouldn't survive.
No, him and Drake would have been beaten to death.
Drake's rhymes are pretty weak.
Well, Drake is weak. He's a weird, small little man. People could also be hanged or sacrificed to Ceres, the goddess, if they were found burning or grazing livestock from another person's crops at night.
Or you're just trying to be sneaky, stealing somebody else's stuff. Yeah, feeding your cows on somebody else's land or your sheep or whatever you got.
Yep. Now, moving forward in time a little bit, we're going to jump to the Aztec Empire. They based law and order with more of a practical approach and less of a religious approach, which, when I think of Aztec Empire and people being put to death, I obviously think back to our Ice Mummies episode, where it was done as a sacrifice for the gods, you know?
Yeah, and I think of like Apocalypto, which is also another sacrifice movie.
So
like people getting their heads chopped off and the blood running down these massive pyramids and stuff like that.
yeah, so when I was looking into this, I kind of assumed that it would be based a little bit more in religion, but they were pretty practical. People who committed crimes were normally tried in a local court where senior warriors were in charge and acted like the judges. More serious crimes were handled in the capital city, and the most serious crimes, ones committed by nobles, were held in the emperor's court, where sometimes the emperor himself would even be the judge. Nobles were held to the same standard as the common person because they were the ones who were supposed to be setting the best examples, which I really like, because in the previous two societies that we just discussed, a lot of times nobles were held out of...
It was overlooked.
Yeah.
Turn a blind eye to a high-ranking official.
Yeah, it was either that or they just got less severe punishments. So the Aztecs seemed to have, if anything, treated the nobles more brutally because they were held to a higher standard, which...
higher degree of accountability.
Yeah, which I kind of like.
I agree. If you're a public figure, you should do good with your platform, and if you do bad, then
You can't be doing it
maybe
anymore.
you shouldn't have the platform.
Mm-hmm. Children under the age of 10 were not considered legally able to commit a crime, but for a serious offense, like if they assaulted their parents, they too could be put to death. Which I don't know how serious the assault needs to be to warrant that, but there you go. Many crimes would bring about the death penalty, though. Murder, rape, abortion, robbery, witchcraft, desertion, public drunkenness, and destruction of property, just to name a few. It was actually illegal for anybody under the age of 70 to be drunk in public. Though they did, for that particular crime, you got a warning first, and then it would be death. Most commonly, people convicted of these crimes would either be strangled to death or stoned to death.
I do love a good strangle to death.
I think that is so fucking funny. You better have a strong man strangling me.
All I can think of when I hear about ancient strangling deaths is Bart Simpson getting strangled by Homer Simpson. Oh like I imagine it being like that.
The cadaver synod.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, put everybody, like, do a Simpsons caricature of everyone who's got strangled throughout time. That's what I see in my head.
Yeah. Prisoners of war got a pretty brutal execution. One way that they were killed was to be slowly cooked to death. The person would be put in a bonfire and then pulled out repeatedly. Once they were close to death, their hearts would then be cut out of their chests.
Classic.
Another way was to lay a prisoner down on a sacrificial stone and then cut their chests with an obsidian blade and take the heart out.
Very Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
There is something about the removal of the chest, like, I know it's like movie stuff, but like removing the heart from the chest and then having someone look at their own heart. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Freaky, because you are, I'd assume, alive for at least like a second or two because the blood is still pumping, but I can't imagine it's more than like 2 seconds and then you die.
Well, they say when you get your head chopped off, you have like 8 seconds or something, right?
Yeah, there's some...
I don't know how they can vouch that. It could just be, I guess, facial twitches after death, right? Like, muscle spasms are a thing after you die.
Yeah, there's some old folktale. I don't know if there's any truth to it, if I'm being honest. I've never looked into the legitimacy of this. But there's an old story that a man who was condemned to die was asked to blink as long as he could after his head was cut off. And I think that's where we get the basis for how long it actually takes.
Yeah, but even in that scenario, if he started off doing that for like a second or two and then died, but because he was doing it before he died, muscle memory and everything at the end might have continued it on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables there.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
We don't know.
No. Back to the Aztecs, though. They also had a primitive firing squad. The convicted person would be tied between 2 posts with a white spot painted on their chest to show where the heart was. Archers would then shoot the body repeatedly in every spot but the heart and the head. Those 2 were saved for last.
That's a pretty brutal one.
Condemned women were treated a bit differently. They would be treated lavishly as though they were goddesses, and then they would be beheaded.
Quick death.
Yeah, not bad. I'm not mad at that one. Jumping forward a bit again, we're heading to the medieval times, where torture, which often led to death, so was kind of like an execution in itself, was extremely frequent and extremely brutal. There are many, many different examples that we could talk about, though we did talk about some of them in, like, the witches episode. So, you know, like the wheel, and we're going to kind of skip...
the breaking wheel.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of skip over some of those and talk about ones that we didn't touch on as much. One of which was rat torture.
Oh, is this when they heat up
Yep.
Heat up something to get the rat to burrow into the skin?
That is exactly what it is. The victim was strapped to a table laying on their back, and a rat was placed on their chest under a metal or iron bucket. The bucket was then heated, and the rat, looking for somewhere to go to escape the heat, would burrow into the person's chest.
Brutal.
Yep. Flaying.
Ah, good flayed man.
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones fans.
I'm unfamiliar. I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Well, in Game of Thrones, they flay him by removing his manhood.
That's,
but being flayed, though, is being skinned.
Yeah.
Alive,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Though it is frequently associated with religious connotations, it was also just used for death. It was first used by the Assyrians in the mid to late 800s BCE. And it is exactly as you said. It is when a person's skin is just stripped off using knives. Sometimes people would live through this, though usually shock or blood loss would result in death sooner. There was also coffin torture, which is when a condemned would be stuck in a very small kind of bird cage situation, and they were hung up. So picture like the Tweety bird cage, and somebody's in that.
We see in medieval castles the bird cage with the skeleton hanging out of it,
Exactly, yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean, that kind of vibe. Because I was in Pirates of the Caribbean too, and I just watched those, so that's what I'm associating it with. Since this was a public event, people would frequently throw objects at the person inside, which is just, I don't know, insult to injury. I'm already going to die up here. Don't throw your shit at me. Death usually occurred from the elements or dehydration, though. So just a slow, painful, humiliating death. Now we're going to do some honorable mentions, which I didn't get into the whole backstory of the society here, but just some crazy, crazy, crazy methods of being put to death. We're going to start with backbreaking, which was used by the Mongolians. When the Mongolians performed an execution, they would not spill blood. So no cutting the throat, nothing, no beheading, nothing brutal.
Too messy.
Yep. They would do things like just smother people or break your back. It is likely that Mongolian leader...
Already forgive this pronunciation.
Yeah, sorry. It is likely that Mongolian leader, Jamuka, it's fine. It's likely that that's how he was executed around 1206.
Smothered or back broken?
Back broken. Sorry,
Okay,
specifically back broken.
Okay.
Blowing from a gun. This is when somebody was tied to the mouth of a cannon and then the cannon was fired.
Like, I'm guessing they were strapped like a cannonball, like a ball and chain.
No, they were literally put to the front of the cannon, like the mouth of the cannon. You would just be tied up to that. So then the ball would go.
Oh, the ball would go and just, you would fly like a cartoon character across the land.
Yes, but in 1,000 pieces.
I wonder how often the cannonball just went through people.
I assume.
And it just bursted them.
I assume frequently. This practice was used in British India and the Middle East around the 18 to 1900s. I am surprised you did not ask about this one, the blood eagle.
Why would I ask about this one? I love this one. It's crazy.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, is what I mean, I guess.
Oh, I love a blood eagle. For anybody who doesn't know what a blood eagle is,
Go for it.
It's when they hack away at the left and right side of your spinal column, like detaching your ribs and then pulling them through the back to give the appearance of wings. And then they take your lungs, pull them outside of your body because now it's exposed because your ribs are open. And then they drape them down the back.
Yep.
It's a pretty brutal way to go.
Yes. Now, this method of death has... It borders with, anything with the Vikings. It borders on myth. We're not positive if this was actually used or if this was just a scary story. But mention it anyway,
Yeah, Viking like mythos is super interesting to me. So many of their characters skew between reality and documentation, like real documentation and fantasy. It's crazy. Like the popular show Vikings is based off Ragnar Lothbrok.
Mm-hmm.
That guy exists in both text from England back in the day, actual accounts of him raiding villages, and also has like myths of him killing giant snake dragons.
I know, and you've asked for something about the Vikings, and it's so hard to distinguish between their legends and their reality, which makes it super fucking fun, but super difficult to make an episode on.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because of their belief. Once you die, the only thing that lives on, the only way you stay around on Midgard is through the stories that you've told.
Makes sense. A lot of cultures have that kind of same idea. People suffer 2 deaths. Your physical one, and when your name is spoken for the last time. Back to our methods. Being boiled alive in various liquids is another one, such as oil, tar, water, or even sometimes molten lead.
Yep. It's obvious, but all that sounds like it sucks.
Yep.
Dude, being dipped in molten lead, just being dipped and brought back up. Allowing it to coat every orifice of you, and then you come out and it just dries instantly.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm praying for a quick death.
I wonder if there's like encased people in lead that have been found. Like mummified in lead.
Yeah, like a carbonite situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'll look at that. I'll look for that later, though. Scaphism was the ancient Persian method of killing, and it was pretty brutal. The person would be placed between two boats, then force-fed milk and honey and left floating in a pond. The mixture they were fed would result in diarrhea, and this would lead to increased insect activity. The insects would eventually burrow into and eat the person alive. There's also some sources that said like they would pour honey on you as well to help increase.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, the end result is the same. Ouch.
I've actually heard of that. I just didn't know what it was called, but I've heard of that before.
Yeah, I had too. Death by 1,000 cuts, which was used in China. Cuts would be made on a person slowly over time, with the number ranging from 100 to up to 3,000. This would be a public execution, and crowds could and would gather to watch. The executioner in this death had to take care not to cause shock or too much blood loss, because if the condemned died too soon, the executioner could face punishment themselves for that. So they made it a truly slow and painful process.
Gnarly.
But that is the list that I compiled of some of the most brutal ways to be put to death in the ancient world up to kind of today, more modern day. Thoughts, views, and opinions?
Yeah, pretty much exactly what I expected. A whole bunch of messed up stuff.
Yeah. Probably should have put a little warning at the beginning that this episode was going to be...
No, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
You know what to expect, guys. We know.
But, yeah, pretty... I mean, it was kind of interesting to get the insight into the law and why some of these executions happened. For things that we see today is, I mean, there wouldn't be a case like singing a song against somebody or, you know, even you probably could be tried for this, but shoddy construction, having your kid killed, you know, it was just very interesting to see all that. But the execution methods, there's nothing that can shock me on what humans will do to each other. After
731, I think I'm pretty numb. Yeah. That was like the hardest episode to go through.
Yeah.
Unit 731 is a hard one.
And I did that for the third episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard that and you want to listen to it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Up front, up top, sorry.
We were both new and disgusted that whole time.
Yeah. Took a shower after that one because I felt gross talking about it. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got. So I think we'll wrap it up here. You guys can follow us on Instagram or send us an email, both of which are linked in the show description below.
You guys can head over to the website. You can buy some merch, help support the show. You could also join us at our new Patreon. And as always, sharing, rating, commenting on shows is the best way to help us grow, and it's the biggest compliment that we can get. So with that, thank you guys very much, and can't wait for next week.
We will see you next week. Goodbye.
See you guys.
We started this recording too late. I gotta get to work.
Just to let everybody know, for the final 10 minutes of this episode, Jamie has been over there both working and recording at the same time.
I'm trying to do both. Don't tell my boss. Okay, thanks for listening. I gotta go, guys. Bye.